Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to call this meeting of the Neighborhood Improvement Services Advisory Committee to order. I would also like to thank our viewing audience for tuning in. At this time, I would like to ask Mr. Jonathan to lead invocation.
God, I want to thank you for having us all be able to be here today. I want you to be able to grant us the wisdom to be able to bring forth good ideas to improve the people that we live with in our neighborhood, in our city, and do good all around. Instill in us patience, instill in us wisdom, and give us some creative ideas to do what we can in these hard times, and give people the patience to go ahead and push forward. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
At this time, I would like to welcome everyone around the table, and also we would like to go around the table for introductions.
Brian Jackson, City Councilman, Liaison to NESAC Committee.
Gloria Whitney, member.
Jerry March, member.
LaShawn Harston Warren, Wilmington Area Rebuilding Ministries.
Pamela Trafton, Neighborhood Improvement Services Coordinator.
Carmela George, Local Business Owner.
Tracy Jackson, Neighborhood Improvement Services Director.
Owen Hells, member.
Jonathan Pies, member.
Paula Jones, member. Marsha Wright, member.
Steve Forney, member and vice chair.
Will Smith, member and chairman. I'd like to thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you much, ma'am, for being with us tonight. We look forward to hearing your presentation. Has everyone had the chance to review the agenda? Are there any changes or additions?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the adopt the agenda as written.
Thank you.
Second the motion.
Thank you, Rick. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The motion is carried. At this time, I would like to turn it over to Ms. LaShawn Hurston, the program manager for WARM.
Good evening, everyone. Just as our chair mentioned, I am the program manager for Warren, Wilmington Area Rebuilding Ministries, and we are based out of Wilmington. We've been around for 25 years. This will be our 26th year. And we've actually been working here in Onslow County a little over a year and a half. So it's not a new organization or a new organization. So we've been around for some time. Here in our slide presentation, we have how we got started. It says here, we get a lot of questions about, are we a faith-based organization? The organization did start with the church, is United Methodist. Who's doing the slides? There we go. These are our founders, Leon and Joyce West. They did founded in 1996 with our two hurricanes, Bertha and Fran. And so with that, they also found that not only was it storm-related issues as far as home rebuilding, but also deferred maintenance, where individuals did not have the money to go ahead and make those necessary upgrades or repairs to their homes as needed. So, like I said before, just being able to make those upgrades to their homes or making those repairs as needed. J.C. Lau is our executive director. She's actually been with WARM since 2009. And since she's taken over the helm at WARM, we've actually increased our annual revenue, quadrupled it since she's been at the head of the organization. She's very involved. Here we have our leadership team in application. From application to construction, we have Kim Gore, who is our director of homeowner services. Cheryl Bird is our finance director. And Tom Burns is our director of construction. Our mission is to rebuild, repair, and make homes accessible, and to inspire generosity and service and hope to those, to everyone. Basically, our vision is to inspire all homeowners to be safe in their homes, and also just to get everyone involved in these necessary repairs, because we do have a paid staff, but our labor comes from volunteer work, okay? Here you have an example of some of the repairs that we've done in some of the homes. As you can see, the picture on the left compared to the picture on the right, all right? As you can see, it looks like a very drastic difference, okay? And when we talk about those deferred maintenance, those what it relates to. So our warm homeowners 42% of our homeowners are disabled, 64% are over the age of 60, 25% have no insurance, and 60% are females, which are considered to be head of household. And the average income that we see is at $16,400. And as you can see for Onslow County, our average median is just over $23,000. So application to construction process, between 4 to 6 weeks from application. To get through the application process, we do income screening, to the application intake, and then to review and approval. And then 3 to 12 months from the initial assessment to construction. Now, let's talk about that 3 to 12 months. That 3 to 12 months can go fast depending upon how much volunteer participation we get in the counties that we serve. If we don't have a high volunteer rate, then it kind of slows it down, okay? So we do look for those that would love to volunteer with us. These are the areas that we do service, starting out in New Hanover, Brunswick, and Pender County, and then expanding to Onslow and Duplin, which is my area of responsibility. And then our newest counties are Bladen and Columbus County, where we also do have a satellite site there for a program manager that's there, okay? So looking at here's a model of our homeowner income model, where the lowest income model we have is someone was receiving $494, their monthly income, with their expenses being over almost $800. And as you can see, there is a deficit of just over $300. So you see right there that they have no money to even look at trying to make any repairs to their homes. And these are some of the partners that we have that help finance our home repairs. We do partner with the North Carolina Housing Finance Agency. We also receive funds from disaster recovery, AARP for those who receive that for our senior citizen community, as well as from the city of Wilmington that also provides grants to us, and then as well as the DAV. And here we have some community partners that come out and volunteer with us. We do have an internship and apprenticeship program where we have students that come out and volunteer and help us as well. We do have the Medicaid pilot program. Any long-time disaster groups that come out and try to help, as well as help repair homes during disasters. Housing coalitions, as well as other professional organizations. We just had a volunteer group from the Jacksonville Board of Realtors that came out and volunteered with us earlier this month as well. So any professional group that would like to volunteer with us, we do encourage that for them to come on out. And the HOP program, Healthy Opportunities Pilot Program, is a fairly new program that is being utilized right now. These individuals that qualify for the HOP program do have to be referred by their medical provider in order to receive services, okay? So the reason why the HOP program is put into place, because we do see that individuals that have issues with their homes, it does affect their health, okay? So if you have someone who has a respiratory issue, we can assess that maybe the home is coming from either a ventilation issue, maybe their carpet needs to be pulled up because there's something in their carpet that's keeping them from having good ventilated air or something like that, something in the air that's messing with their respiratory system, then we go ahead and pull that up and then put in the hard floors for them, okay? So that's just an example. And WARM is growing. Like I said, the program started in 1996. And it's only moved up from there, okay? Where we started out with where we were able to assist 2 homes at the initial start, to now that we've all been able to help over 1,500 applicants, okay? So as you can see, from 1996, servicing 2 homes, 2009 up to 60 homes, and then it goes up from there. And we are currently looking for a construction supervisor and construction assistant for WARM. If you know anyone with the experience that would love to work with us, all right, that has a passion for helping others and wants to be in the construction field, that has that knowledge, they can definitely go ahead and apply for our positions that we currently do have open. And we actually do need a construction supervisor for Onslow County.
Do you wanna go ahead and give us a place where they can go ahead and contact you, so, just in case anybody is listening?
Yes, they can contact Warm, go to www.warmnc.org, and they can find out their job listing there,
Thank you,
okay? They can also find it on Indeed as well,
okay.
all right? So this is our impact slide. We are looking for volunteers. You can also donate, and you can definitely share our website info@warmnc.org. Our donations can be given on the website at warmnc.org/donate. And as I mentioned before, volunteer, volunteer, volunteer. Because the more volunteers we have, the more we're able to help. We currently have 14 active pending rebuilds here in Onslow County that we need to get done, and we are seeking out volunteers so we can go ahead and get that work done. Do I have any questions?
I'd like to give you a date. I chair the board for Eastern Carolina Human Services, which is our community action agency.
Mm-hmm.
And we serve Onslow, Dublin, and New Hanover
Okay.
at the moment. We're having a pop-up on Friday, the 26th of August.
I'm already signed up, and I'll be there.
Okay, just wanted to make sure you were on the list.
Yes, ma'am, I'm gonna be there.
Funding
Uh-huh.
for the program
Mhm.
comes from,
The North Carolina Housing Finance Agency, as well as other grants and private donations.
do you receive funding from Jacksonville?
No, but
Onslow
we would
County?
definitely love to.
None? Okay.
Does city or county
Wondered
government
about that.
participate in any of your counties?
Say it again.
Is any money from city or county government in your county?
Yes, the city of Wilmington. Mhm.
I thought I heard you say that earlier. I was writing just to make
Yes,
sure.
the city of Wilmington does.
Only the city of Wilmington?
Only the city of Wilmington right now currently donates to Warren, but we are actively
But you
seeking
guys
other
are
grants.
All
We're
around
all
that,
over.
there and
Yes,
everywhere else?
Everywhere, yes.
Oh, my.
So you have no individual donors?
Yes, private donations.
Okay, private,
Yes.
okay,
Mhm.
okay.
Yes.
So basically, somebody applies for the program,
Mm-hmm.
and if they get approved, you show up at their house and tell them, hey, we're gonna rebuild your house.
Well, not necessarily rebuild the home, but make necessary repairs to the home to make the home safe.
Livable and
Yes,
safe.
livable and safe.
That's great.
Because what we try to do is we try to make it to where, say a senior citizen, instead of having them to move out of their home, we want to make it so that they're able to stay and age in their home. That's what we want to do. And those that qualify, so some qualifying factors, it can be a single parent, 62 years or older, a veteran, a spouse of a deceased veteran, a single parent, or a large family. All right, and or disabled. And when we talk about large family, that's 5 or more in the home, all right, and low income. And we do have an income requirement that we go by. Then when we do the initial screening, they can, I will go ahead and assess which grants they qualify for. And that's just our 2 primary grants. We figure out which programs they will qualify for, but also we have other small grants that they could potentially qualify for as well.
Okay, great.
Where are you located in the area?
All right, I am located at the Jacksonville Commerce Center. That's on Gum Branch Road, okay? So they can come right in there, ask for Warren, LaShawn, or just say, I'm here to see Warren. They can come around to my office and get me, and I can help them.
Any other questions? Okay.
I love the presentation you did. Was that done, by you all internally or?
Yes, it was done by our homeowner director, Kim.
I really appreciate it, Mr. Sean, and the Warren program. So everybody's watching, so just make sure we get volunteers in our county. We want to support the things that we do in our county. So churches, civic groups, things like that, please go on their website and volunteer. This is one of those situations that will be better to give than receive. All right? So thank you, Mr. Sean. Okay.
I'm sure you go around and talk to all kinds of groups. I'm thinking about volunteers. There may be people who are not particularly wanting to do construction as such, but they
Yes.
would like to do some other things. You have a list of things people can volunteer to do?
Well, it really depends on what type of work they want to do. So we do have a volunteer coordinator, Sadie Fry.
Okay.
And if they were to get with her and figure out, okay, on these volunteer days that we want to volunteer for, what particular work are you looking for individuals to do?
I see.
And we do have some that don't, like you said, don't want to do construction, but maybe they want to come and bring snacks, help motivate, things like that.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you. Okay. All right, so we'll move on. Has everyone had the opportunity to review the minutes from April the 25th? Are there any changes or additions?
I'll make a motion to adopt the minutes as written.
Oh, thank you very much. All in favor? Okay, seeing no one opposed, the motion is carried. Okay, at this time we'll do,
Planning board,
Yes, sir.
we have not had a meeting the last 2 months, so there is nothing to report. That just means everything is normal and there's nothing out of the exception that needed to be looked at.
Okay, all right, appreciate it. Community development update?
It is so good to see everyone here. Welcome, especially since we have a full table today. So I'm very, very pleased with your participation and your volunteerism that you all offer the city on this community, committee. So the update for CDBG funding, the CARES Act, we have almost spent all of our money. We have about, I want to say about 20,000, a little bit over 20,000 left for our expense for any organization that would need to have some CARES Act money. So let me know if it is any nonprofits that think that they can qualify for the CARES Act to prevent the spread of coronavirus. Get in contact with us. And we'll see whether or not your organization can fulfill the compliance needs of that funds, okay? Also, the annual action plan. We are in the final planning stages of that. And with that, it has been approved by council. It has been approved by council. Moving back to the CDBG Funding CARES Act, we have spent about $124,000 in utility assistance. So we have helped those individual 255 households in the city limits of Jacksonville. Going back to the annual action plan, the city council have approved our annual action plan on June 21st. We are going to have that submitted by July the 11th so that we can meet HUD's deadline. And currently we are in Country Club Villas. Country Club Villas has some challenges in there, and we're pleased to report that we have some contractors that have come in and agreed to renovate, and they have contracted with us, and we have completed 516 Myrtlewood. We have that one for sale. We're currently have 427 and 429 underway. What we have done is went in and purchased the worst looking units that are in that area. We've had some private investors also go in and made some improvements just by eliminating the trash cans and putting, those trash cans in strategic places. That has improved the overall appearance of that. So if you are interested in purchasing a townhome in Country Club Villas, I encourage people to just go into the neighborhood, and they will find that that neighborhood has turned a corner. It has really turned a corner. I'm very proud of the accomplishments and the overall appearance of that neighborhood. So just wanted to let you all know that here are some before pictures. Like I said, we went in and purchased the worst of the worst units that are in there. And these units were burn units, dilapidated, and here are some during pictures. So the back end of the 427 Myrtlewood Circle, it is improved to where it has now a porch on the back. All of the old is coming out, being replaced with all of the new. So it goes all the way down to the studs, and the contractor is repairing it as we speak. They replaced the trusses, the roof, everything has been replaced.
Like a whole new building.
Before you go to that next thing, like you said, if someone was interested in buying that property, who would they contact? So that,
They would need to contact Pamela Trapton, and she is going to talk about our home ownership programs. She's going to tell the public how to purchase those houses. I don't wanna, get ahead
okay,
of her.
okay, so you do.
So, right now, we're going to turn it over to Pamela Trapton so that she can give you an update about our neighborhood initiatives.
Good evening, everyone. So demolitions, we've completed 159 demolitions. So this was our most recent one at 249 Georgetown Road, which was right across from Georgetown Park. And it was completed in time for Juneteenth Festival that was recently held. So that home is no longer present there. If you saw where,
I thought you was gonna have an after picture.
but just seeing like how the chimney had fallen, those pictures, that house is now no longer there. Moving forward into our youth council, we have a youth empowerment summit. I'm excited because we are back in person. We are back in council chambers, and our youth officers are meeting tomorrow actually to start planning for the upcoming year. So for any high school teens in Onslow County, Camp Lejeune, that's in the area, we are welcoming you to come back. Saturday, August 13th from 9 to 1 will be our annual summit. We also have some fun, exciting events coming up. I'll do a sneak peek, but look for the first field day to come up for our teenagers. So those that are listening now, plan for September to have a field day opportunity. That's coming up. Money management is August 20th from 9 to 12. And that is already taken registration for it now. With our classes, you do not want to wait until the week of to say we need to sign up for it. We may be completely booked at that point, but we may still be able to slide you in as long as I don't hit over 40 people, okay? So if you are planning to do class, go ahead and sign up today. Next one. Yep, so our next home ownership class for home buyers education is September 17th. Same concept applies. If you are thinking about purchasing a home, even if the inkling has popped into your mind that I want to be a homeowner, then we would definitely want you to go ahead and sign up now for it, because that class is September 17th. It is $25 per person. And as we looked at the houses in Country Club Villas with 516 already renovated and ready to purchase, the class is a requirement to go through the program. We have down payment assistance and seller financing options with the city. So first thought process is I want to buy a house. Second move is call 910-938-5286. There are credit requirements and housing income requirements as well to purchase a home within the city using the city's programs. But we are definitely looking forward to it. In Country Club Villa specifically, last year we had 2 homes that went through the same process of being completely renovated. And we had 2 homeowners that went through the homebuyer education class, able to get seller financing through the city. And now we have 2 new homeowners in that neighborhood. So we want to continue to expand. That's why we have 516 ready on the market to go. We have 427 coming up. And then 429 is next on the list. Also for 429, that is getting ready to be bid back out for contractors. So if you are a general contractor, or if you build houses, if you do renovations, if you know somebody that does and they are licensed general contractor, have them call us at 910-938-5286 because we are looking for general contractors and builders as well.
All right, before we move to this one city, my city, our city, I want to just thank you guys, your department here in the city, because I remember a year ago, 2 years ago, we were begging people to sign up for those classes, and now just seeing as a process of time, you being patient with our community and with our board here, how now we're getting those seats filled and we're seeing the process come to pass. So for all those that are watching, we do have a process within our city that can help you go from not owning a home to actually becoming a homeowner. And it's within our city and it's for our community. So come down and find out what you need to do to be a part of it. So I'd like to just thank you two ladies for being patient, and I'm going on with this. Thank you so much.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, we didn't do the town center update on the agenda before, unless I missed it.
Yes, I would defer to our Councilman Brian Jackson to give us a town center update, as he has been instrumental in all of the changes that have occurred.
I just saw it on the agenda.
Yes, ma'am.
All right,
That's fine.
thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, Town Center has been purchased by Community Investment Group out of Chesapeake, Virginia. They're currently, one of the things that they ran into is they didn't know exactly how many residents were still in those apartments. It really wasn't handed down, and some of those residents actually were squatters, just people, I think it was like 25 of those. So they're working on trying to move people out of there that don't supposed to be there, first of all. And I don't know where the evictions are now, but there was I think probably around 60 evictions that the other group had put in. So I don't know how many of those residents that actually are already out. But they're working on trying to keep the residents that are supposed to be, or have been paying on time in those apartments, at least through November 30th. And we're working on things moving forward. They're also looking at purchasing some hotels to start dealing with low-income housing in the area. So there, I could say we met with Brett Reese, that's over the construction there. He's done a whole lot. He's reached out to some organizations to help the individuals there. So I definitely feel better about it now than I felt in the past. So we're moving forward with it. So, any particular questions?
I have one question. In regards to, I guess for lack of a better phrase, the squatters, do we know if there is going to be any option for them to, again, I guess for lack of a better language, come into compliance, so to speak?
With some of them, so far what I know, they're trying to work on it. I think they gave them at least 30 days, but they're working on trying to figure out where they can go. Mm-hmm. They don't want to throw anybody on the street, but trying to figure out, it's hard for those that have been paying. Mm-hmm. So just trying to figure out other ways, and don't have the answer for that right now.
And the emptiness in the community is also
That's the issue.
fomenting
Other
right. activities, yeah.
But they've been working on that as well.
Looting, unfortunately, all the metals in the apartments and whatnot, so.
They're working on all of that, trying to get more patrolling around there and their own security, so.
I suppose my question is any of the current town center, what is now called town centers, gonna remain affordable, or is it planning that they're all hotels or something like that?
Stay tuned. Not really sure. I know they're working on possible being subsidized. I think, from what I understand, Section 8 is trying to make some adjustments possibly and waivers to change the amount that the rent can be, because I think it's a cap of like $670 for one bedroom or something to that degree. And if you can't actually, if your apartment is $671, you can't actually go use your Section 8 voucher for those apartments. So it's a work in progress, but they're trying to work on, like I said, let the ones there stay there and looking for alternatives as they go forward. So.
When you say they, do you mean town center?
Community Investment Group.
The community investment group.
The ownership.
Okay, so they have a liaison down here?
They're on site. Actually,
down here already?
Right.
Okay.
They're actually on site. So.
Okay.
And are they a CDC, right? Isn't that the?
They're not. They're private investors, right?
So my question or suggestion, questions of bigger scope. As I know that town center is in a particular ward here in
Right.
Jacksonville, but as our city council members, like how can we get ahead of the next time something like that could happen? Whether it be in one of the other wards, another neighborhood, something like that. And it's just something to think about. It doesn't have
No,
to be.
and I'll say it. I mean, one of the things that's been discussed is for actually to have a retreat or something where we start putting our plans together. And that has to come up so we can avoid things going in the future, because we were caught blindsided by this thing, you know. So
And yeah, there are certain groups out there that will benefit from these things happening. You know what I mean? Just as I mean, I don't want to put any names out there because I don't know what their intentions are. But if you can make the property value of a home go down, and then you can purchase it at a lower price, so that then you can flip it and make more out of it. It just seems to be what's happening, you know, so that, and it's just in conjunction with your question, you know, it's like, how do we not prevent, because the community doesn't do it. If you're living there and you're living in the community, I don't think the community itself spirals into that.
and you're
That
right
downward spiral
about
where-
the flipping.
Yeah.
That was the issue that was going on before.
Yeah.
So we do have to do something going forward. So, you know, we kept, after the sale, then we have to give them the time to try to bring it up. They didn't do it. You know, then they sell it to someone else, and then we're going through that process all over again. And we were trying to work more along with this current group to make sure we can assist them and we could be along in the process.
If anything, fines deter, and those fines can be turned into things that the programs that help people out can use, you know?
That's what I was gonna say. Well, of course, we know Tracy and Pam do excellent work, and so I think we need to, I've said it in other venues, we need to come up with some type, city council needs to come up with some type of affordable housing plan for the city. And y'all need to, well, not y'all, us, we should, come up with some incentives for people to build affordable housing in Jacksonville, in the city of Jacksonville. Not just rely on the county to do it, not just rely on, money coming from the feds, the tax money I pay as a city resident. I would like it to be invested in an affordable housing plan because it has numerous positive outcomes for everybody.
But I like the idea of planning because of this.
That's right.
And nothing I have learned more as being a part of this committee, because I've been on this committee since 1986, has been the lack of comprehensive planning. We have had discussions about water and sewer, housing, all kinds of issues, and it always came back to what is the plan? I know when we had Bowl was going back in the 90s, whenever that was, bettering our local downtown. And they came to this group because they were wanting to have some funds from the city.
And they did it
invested in
downtown master plan.
Yeah,
It was
well,
based on
actually,
architectural review only.
yeah. And see, when I, as chair, I sat here and I said, well, if we give you money, what is downtown going to look like after you spend our money? And no one could tell me. I said, you don't have a drawing, you don't have a mock-up, you don't have a little Lego thing going, you know, you can't show me anything that you're going to, that is going to look like after you spent this money, but you still want all of our money. And so I think that, and every time you have a new neighborhood, it's because some private entity who owned the property or bought the property and got some money together, put a few houses, it's almost like a monopoly board and God just reached down and just dropped a whole lot of houses. And there's no rhyme or reason to any of it. Streets don't make any sense when you go in and out, north, south, east, or west. And I know I come from a city where I could direct someone who had never laid eyes on Cleveland, Ohio, and get to exactly where they wanted to get to because it was a grid, it was laid out. And yet here, you cross the street and you're in a new area and there's nothing to do with the one you just left. There's no rhyme or reason to it. And I think that a comprehensive plan is exactly what, you know, we need. And I know there are companies out there I've heard about that you see on TV, advertised all the time on TV about they're trying to personalize it so that you can go and buy your home or sell your home or whatever. But what they in fact do is go and buy tens of thousands of empty homes and sit on them in order to grind out profit. And so you have average middle-class people who want to upgrade or want to buy, it's causing the cost of everything to ratchet up, because some of the places you see and that I know people have bought into here recently, the price they had to pay was crazy. You know, the earnest money was ridiculous. For you to have to expect two working people and people who work, you know, two teachers who can't get mortgage paper because they can't compete with somebody who is dealing with a company that is sitting on tens of thousands of pieces of property for the purpose of making a profit, not for the purpose of building and expanding home ownership. And so, which is a whole nother set of stuff, because that's a governmental issue and a regulation issue. But still, if you do have a plan and mapping things out about where you want to go, because, you know, water and sewer has to follow, police have to follow, and all of that kind of thing, that I would love to see some kind of a open summit where people could come in and express their views, agree to work on the issue, instead of always having a particular group of people who are working on something, and when you know about it, it's because you saw it on G10 or you saw it in the newspaper, but you never got a chance to say anything about it.
Yes, sir.
You know, as a private citizen. So.
Right, I think they do put out the information ahead of time, and that's the thing about it, is just trying to figure out how to put out the information, the better way of doing it. Because a lot of times when you're dealing with daily news now, people don't actually keep up with it because it's always behind. So, you know, that is actually put out ahead of time, but that's the problem. They're just not interested.
Yeah.
And going back to what I think you mentioned, community development corporations. And that is the best way that we can create, we call income-based housing. People say affordable housing, but all of us want affordable housing. But what we don't have is income-based housing. And LaShawn, Ms. Harston mentioned that $23,000, this is the median income for Onslow County.
3 years late.
But when you see what they show for the median income of $52,000 based on the census, you know, it doesn't present a true picture. And that's what we have to figure out, what percentage of the people here really fit that group based on the other numbers. So we're not been dealing with the people that's been here that isn't connected to that basin one way or the other. So yeah, we do, I agree with you. We have to get a vision together and we have to listen to our community, our residents. So, but go ahead.
My problem was when I first came here in '82, New River was there. And from the time I was on beautification and all the other boards, we had about 4 owners to come in from other states to buy that property. When they bought it, they defaulted on it, put it in bankruptcy, and then they went back to their town. It was just like, well, what in a big city, when you see the property, when people go in and buy it for profit, make a profit off of it, and then they go back to where they go. And then they sell it to a friend of theirs. We got properties, they come down, they buy it. And for the first time, I knew that a man from Virginia had bought it. Why did we let him come in here and buy it? When we could have fixed it up at the first point.
Well,
I remember that.
Something else that I wish would
Change
happen, you
hands.
know how we bring in people?
Yeah, for the money.
No, but you know how we bring in other, like, we're asking for subcontractors to bring in construction and what, you know? I know that it's far-fetched, but if it were home-based,
Yeah.
that would give people here work. See what I'm saying?
Well, one thing I did talk to Brett Reese about is he's trying to hire people from here. Actually, he's
Yeah.
already started hiring
Good,
people
good,
from here,
yeah.
and we understand that.
But even not, if the city was on top of it and watching it, they wouldn't let the one
Well,
comes in, the
Which
shyster.
leads me to my one question that I have. Sorry to interrupt, but, and excuse my ignorance, but do we have a department that enforces not only code, but like holds property owners liable?
We have,
And by doing so, fining them?
yeah. We do.
Okay, so we do have code enforcement, and once we go in and handle high grass and weeds and all of that, we will hire a contractor to go in and take care of the high grass and weed as far as minimum housing. We get inspections department also go in and deem a unit unsafe and uninhabitable to live in. And then we would enforce that, and
Do we
they would,
fine as part of that process?
well, that is not part of our process as far as finding them for having
That's
an
the
empty
problem.
house.
They have no deterrent.
So that's you know, city code, that's what we have. And,
That's the problem
you know,
right
we
there.
don't like to see boarded up houses, but if an owner wants to board up their house, they have the right to board up their house.
Gotcha.
And
Yeah, because that's
And
a
this is,
homeowner. But what if I'm renting, right? And my hole just fell through. I got a hole in my kitchen. And I just told my property manager, and it's been a week and a half and nothing has happened. Who do I go to?
But code enforcement, they do,
And I make $460 a month. You want me to go get a lawyer?
code enforcement
Yeah,
do,
right.
code enforcement do enforce that. And, this is the two-edged sword. If they deem that unit
You got
You got to go.
uninhabitable, then they have to get out of there so that the owners can make those repairs,
And
if they
have to leave
choose
the
to do so.
premises.
But they cannot make any more money
Place to live.
off of that, so that's why we had to draw that, you know, line in the sand and, you know, condemn those uninhabitable units in town center. And that's why it went down from a little bit less than 700 units all the way down until we have like 60 units. So no one made any money off of those, you know, residents.
It's not the fact of making money off of the residents, because that's when the problem is already a huge problem.
That's correct.
You deter that. I mean, why don't we go 120 miles an hour when we're late? Obviously for our health, and we don't want to endanger others. But we also don't want that $3,000 ticket and our license getting taken away.
Yes,
It's a
well,
deterrent.
that is not in our code to do that at
So-
this
Hey,
time.
how does that get changed? How does that happen?
We have to change it. That's what you're saying.
Yeah,
Let's plan that out.
That's exactly what has to happen. We have to change the code.
That's what has to happen. And then we can use that money to put it back into the community
Fix it.
and fill it.
We gotta
fix it
find the
up.
best option out,
Yeah.
but we have that power. Going back to what you said, we can't stop anybody from coming in here and buying.
No, you can't,
But
but you
let me
can
say-
stop them.
Let me say,
Tease the landlords when you investigate, vet them.
well,
No, you can't do
you
that.
can't do that. You can't do that.
You know,
Yeah,
Money's
Yeah.
green, that's the
Okay.
thing.
it took
Money's
money
all money's
up
green.
front.
to get that.
Took money up front to buy
That's right.
all of those lots
Okay,
at town center. And saying we shouldn't let somebody come in is not the way to do it.
no, I'm not saying they
You
shouldn't let
can't
them
do
come
that.
in, but I'm saying if they are, what you call it, sort of slum land. Don't you check a person out before they buy a house?
You check and see if they can buy the house.
Remember, it's a personal sale.
You ask them
Yeah,
for,
so-
you ask them, you got the financial stuff, statement and stuff?
But remember, it's a sale between the current owners and the
That's
new
right.
owners.
Yes,
The
but
city
they
doesn't
said
have
it
to
was-
have
yeah,
anything
we don't
to
get
do
it.
City's
with
not
that.
You have to
involved.
go through a bank.
But you,
Yeah, that's all on the
That's
bank
right.
side,
That's the
but it's
bank.
not on the city
Look,
side.
I'm just saying,
if,
that's the same way it was in Michigan. That's why you have the slum neighborhood, people moving out, because the people come in, dump on the people that in there, buy up all the houses, put the poor people out, and then they make money off the houses and rent it for more. Build it and rent it for more.
I wanna get back
You
to
got to
my,
do
I
something
wanna get
about it.
back to my original thing, because everybody had very valid points. But remember, we got elected officials to take care of all those things. And that's what I was talking about, planning on how do we prevent that in the future. That's what our elected officials going into their wards, having town hall meetings, not just when it's time to get elected, but throughout the year to find out what's going on in the communities that I am serving, to make sure that my what is it called, constituents? Are not have, or do not have holes in their floors and they have to move. And the reason why I brought it up now, because I don't know if, you know, I'm sure everybody's been kind of watching what's happening with our economy. If prices are increasing, everything is going to increase. And so this could be a problem for the near future, 5 or 10 years, if us as a team here don't help, because it's not only on them, but it's us who live in the community, who know things that are going on, can bring these things to our city council members and make them listen.
and let me say this too. Remember, we're a solution-oriented committee.
Yes, exactly.
It's not just a problem defined. If we define it, then we gotta figure out how we wanna fix it. You know, and there are other cities that's probably doing it better than what, that are definitely doing it better than what we
Really
did.
doing it better.
But when you're dealing with private industry, you can't get in the way of that.
But the thing about it is, I'm gonna tell you this, when I came here, They told us when I was on beautification, we could not stop the people from littering. And when they opened up Western Boulevard, the guys would drive down with the trucks and let the garbage fall off in those big ditches. We went right back to the state of North Carolina. We could have piggybacked off the North Carolina state law to fine them for dumping trash in the state of North Carolina. Because Jacksonville was in the state of North Carolina. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so that's, and like I said, some of those things, we'll have to table for tonight. But like always, we're solution. We plan, we get it right. And remember, anytime you're dealing with elected officials and community volunteers, there's always going to be some time, some effort, some lack of effort, and frustration built into it also. And so our board here, we have to look at, begin to write down solutions and submit them. What I do before I come to these meetings, I send an email out to pretty much everybody I know what's going on in your community so I can bring it up here and see what's going on and see how we can bring it up to our liaison to the city council to get a solution. Because, and I'll say this, we saw this coming because we went to town hall and we did everything and we put it before the people who it was supposed to be before. But then we had that big thing called a hurricane happen. And that kind of got everybody looking a different way. And then it came back up because things slowed down for COVID. So none of that's an excuse. But when we see something, we have to do something about it right then and not wait till 4 years later. And then we get in here and pretty much complain about something that we could have fixed 4 years ago. So that's my kind of final take on that. And we'll lead that into the one city, my city, our city moment.
Chair, I actually had one question for Pam.
Okay.
On the home ownership program in the country club villas, the city's selling those units. Are they only selling it to the group that's going through your home ownership program?
Yes, so an individual has to go through the class, yes, sir.
So it's,
it has to be
we don't have private owners,
Investment, no.
Yeah, correct.
Right,
There's
no
the
investment
thing.
opportunity, because we want to not get away from the investment opportunity. We want to provide an opportunity for those that may not be able to afford normally.
To compete in the first market that's crazy.
Exactly, yes, sir.
But we do encourage investors to go in there and
Do
purchase
that.
other units that's in there and fix them up.
And fix them up.
And all of
To
that.
code.
So, like I said, the city will go in and get the worst of the worst. So we got all the burn units, all of the units nobody else wanted. And that's what we're going in as an initial footprint. And I will say that other investors have gone in after us and really improved their own properties. So, and we've also had some investors go in and purchase some units that we were looking at purchasing. An investor went in and purchased it. So we encourage that.
Okay, great, thank you.
You're welcome.
But the ones that you got up for finish, I can't buy
No, ma'am.
unless I go through your class.
It is only
There's
for
more
low mod.
Unless I don't make enough money.
Right, there's
It's
more
only for
requirements.
low mod
See,
income
that's what I'm
potential
saying right there.
homeowners.
And it's
You
gotta be
stop
your
me from
primary
buying.
residence.
And that's because the
I wanna
city
buy
owns
for an
it,
older
so
person.
they can control who buys it.
Hmm?
The city owns these units, so they can control
That's
who
what I'm
buys
saying.
it.
That's what they were saying.
An older person can come in and qualify and purchase that. They don't need to go through you, Miss Gloria. They can come in and
I don't
purchase
want
on
them to
their
come
own.
through me. Was
So-
already on mine.
Just send
But
them to
what
our
I'm saying
class.
was,
Send them to our class.
send them to your class?
Yes, ma'am. Have them call us at 910-938-5286.
No, that's okay.
If we can go back one slide, y'all trying to just totally overlook this one city moment. I mean, I'm not gonna let you do it this time, okay?
Oh, that was our one city moment.
Oh, what was?
Yeah, it's coming up.
Oh, that was
Okay.
coming up.
Well, I mean, we're gonna go around the table, and then we'll get to that one city moment, okay?
Oh, okay.
We'll do a slide next time, okay? Does anyone else have a one city moment before we move the slide? Okay, well, I do, and I wanna, congratulate Jacksonville, North Carolina for that Juneteenth celebration they did a couple weeks ago. And the reason why it's so important, and people of all shades came out to celebrate that day. I'm a native of Houston, Texas, 45 minutes from Galveston, where this whole thing kind of started. And I was very impressed of the level of support, the level of understanding that our city gave to the Juneteenth Foundation and to all of the committees that came together and did a wonderful, wonderful job, from the Queen's Court to the parade to the big event out there, and then to I think the county sheriffs were out there making sure everything was safe, and just Georgetown. They really came out and they did a wonderful job hosting that event. So that was more than a one city moment. So I just want to throw that. I'll have a slide next time.
Oh, okay.
With Georgetown Renaissance Committee, they
Yes,
actually spearheaded that.
Yeah, and the city, the Onslow Civic Committee, they also had a program on Thursday where Churchwell, he ended it with his speech. I think Ms. Marsha, she was there giving some information, and we also had a solo, and that solo is she sang our Black National Anthem. So it was very, very.
And presentations were given to the city, county, employees of the city and the county, and also over here at Human Services. Because, the holiday had changed from the Freedom Day and, all that was going on. But, if you're an employee of a place, it makes sense for you to understand what this is and what it's about, because you can pass the message and carry it from one place to another.
Yes, sir.
Rather than, well, I'm off today and I have no idea why. That is not the way you want to.
Yes, sir.
And let me give you a one city moment
There you go,
today.
sir.
Today we actually had a group of people to come together to discuss establishing a local reentry council today. Yeah, it was a great participation. I think we have a lot of people, a lot of organizations who really want to do the work. So if there's an interest, and there are different places you could find yourself up there. You forward all the information. I have to get I could say send it to you guys right now to forward it to the chief of police, so we could start connecting all these dots, so we could have a successful program in the area.
Thank you.
I understand that Pitt County, Greenville/Pitt County has a really viable program. So I don't believe in reinventing the wheel.
Well, one of the consultants, she's from Pitt County, Ms. Joyce Jones.
Have a very viable program.
And we got some great programs, because we use Link in the past. We have people that's come through Carteret, Mecklenburg County it's a lot of, we got to find out what works for us best based on what's happening in other places. So,
And what are resources here?
Exactly. So.
Okay, thank you. Now we're going to move to that next one city moment who have that beautiful slide.
So the Jacksonville Youth Council had an opportunity to host, for the first time, an observance ceremony. In light of the recent school shootings that took place at Robb Elementary, is one of those things that we hate to have an observance ceremony as such, but from it being an impactful event for youth council put on an opportunity to bring observance awareness to it, and just have a few slides from that event. Would like to definitely thank New Beginnings Christian Center Creative Arts Ministry. They provide an interpretive dance to conclude the ceremony.
Oh, babies.
We had all age groups from as young as 3 all the way up to our teenagers. Just a great opportunity. It was led with a message of hope brought to us by our Jacksonville Youth Council chairperson, Morgan McCrae. And then we had a prayer of hope from a Northside student, Miss Rose Mixon. So I'd just like to thank everyone that came out, participated, provided support. We had words of closing by our Councilman Jackson to conclude the show. Great opportunity to hear right on the spot, how did it take place? Feelings of expression. And Councilman Jackson said it best, that we have to, same thing that we're saying in here. We have to listen to our youth. We have to listen to those that are making solutions or any changes for us to be able to come about with any change, just like we said tonight.
And I also encourage anybody that want to see that wonderful presentation to go to the City of Jacksonville YouTube channel, and they'll be able to see it in its entirety. It's very, 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 very good.
Okay. Future agenda topics. I'm gonna go around the room and see if anyone has anything before I get to mine. I got a small list this week.
Happy belated Father's Day to all the fathers out there in Jacksonville and around the world.
Thank you. All right. Okay, so the first thing is collaboration between our city council. And if we can plan, maybe get some of them here to our meeting to hear some of the things that's going on around the community as a whole, so they can kind of get a feeler for what we put you through every week. Then also, very seriously about those town hall meetings, what can be done about that, how, the when, the frequency, regardless if they're, and what I'm speaking of is work outside of the chambers. Because there's work you guys can do in there, but it's work you guys can do on the outside to prep you for once you get in the chambers. And maybe that can help us understand on this board and other boards that many of you guys sit on, the process and how does it apply to my neighbor, my city? How can we help one another a little bit more to make, Jacksonville a caring community like we know that it is. So that's one thing for the future. The next thing is I know that we have some billboards around town talking about the upcoming hurricane season. And if we can push more information out, whether it's on our social media sites, G10 or things like that, about make sure your insurance policies are where you can get to them. Making sure your insurance is paid up. Make sure you have insurance. And make sure, all of those things surrounding hurricane packages and where the locations are for the breakout centers and things like that. Because it's going to be getting into that time of year. And we don't want to get caught definitely again like we did. So if we can have those slides for the next meeting, to just kind of those hurricane slides and telling people what to do and where to go. And those different checks and what to have in their houses and medications and things like that. Because as we get closer to it, and as our community, we got two sides: the military, and they're going to take care of themselves, and some of us who are prior military, we're going to take care of everybody else. So we got to make sure we're taking care of one another also. So that's just a good thing to have for our next meeting.
I will say that we can ask media, because we don't meet until August again.
That's right.
So I will ask media to see whether or not they can go ahead and start running that information on G10, because we don't want to wait. We're already in hurricane season.
And it was in the local water bill.
Yeah.
And I think we own some spaces on these digital billboards too. And I don't know if it's up there, but I know
digital billboard. I think transportation, they control that.
Yeah.
So but it's only so much material you can put on there before the cars are going by. So I would say that if we can utilize G10 to get that information out, that would probably be a better.
And even put the flyer on our Facebook page and things like that.
Yes, all social media, they do that.
I think the other billboard Will's talking about is the digital ones that the city has the PSA spots on.
Exactly. Because the city actually has a spot on there they can run those PSAs on. So, yes, ma'am.
We also need to add the new food deserts to that too, that you was talking about.
Okay.
Where the places to go, and a lot of people have added some new ones, so.
Okay.
We need to know.
Thank you. Mr. Jerry, have anything?
Nothing more, thank you.
Sir, Owen?
Maybe future agenda topics, maybe we could talk about things that could improve neighborhood improvement services in terms of your ability to be more proactive. Like a lot of times it feels like your main power is reactive in the sense that there's a building that is already too far gone and you have a process for handling that, right? And like that's valuable and like I think it's a really good thing, but it is fundamentally reactive. And so maybe we could have a conversation about what I guess for lack of a better word, what powers could city council help you guys out with in order to be more proactive and less reactive, right? Because we have a lot of these conversations about preventing stuff, preventing bad things from happening, and you guys don't really have the power to do that. You guys only seem to mostly have the power to do something once the bad thing has already happened. So maybe we could figure out like what you guys need, I guess is what I'm trying to say. What you guys need from city council in terms of mostly
Let me
power.
jump in here right quick. You have to find out what the citizens need from
What they
the
want,
council.
yeah.
That's what it comes down. The need comes back to the citizens.
Well, no, I mean we know a lot of what the
I know,
citizens need.
but they're limited to what they go based on your recommendations. That's how we act on them, and then they take the next initiative.
It's in our title.
Right.
We are an advisory committee,
Right,
just like planning board. We have no powers.
right. I feel like my point's being missed. My point is they are neighborhood improvement services. I'm not talking about more powers for the advisory committee. I'm saying that
Give it to them.
we can advise them all day long, but if they can't do anything, then they can't do anything.
But the
I was
thing
gonna
about
say-
it comes back to the council,
Right,
so they can do.
right.
That's why he
Okay.
gives
Well,
it to
I was
you.
gonna say, are
That's
you
right.
looking at it
That's
from
what
like
I'm
a
saying.
minimum housing
That's why we
standpoint?
sitting here to bring it
Are you
back to
talking
you.
about housing?
I'm sorry.
Were you talking like a minimum housing standpoint, like the houses that get to the point that they're so dilapidated that we're coming in doing the demolitions or?
Right, so like maybe there's something we can do, there's, like for instance, like what he's talking about, there's a code enforcement issue with a homeowner, for instance, not like a rental situation, but it's a homeowner and there's a code enforcement issue and, maybe there's something that neighborhood improvement services could be doing to help them proactively before it becomes this person has not been able to, and I mean, Warm has a great thing going that can help us with that. And I'm just saying that maybe there's something within the city office that could also be proactive and not just relying on nonprofits to do the work.
We have to work on changing the UDO. That's what has to happen.
Yes,
That's what we
100%.
Yeah, we have to work on that.
Right,
So they'll be empowered to do the next step.
right, that's what I'm saying.
That comes back to it.
Right, so
We
just
have-
having a conversation about what needs to be done to get us there, and again, what you guys wish you could do. That's what I'm saying, is we're supposed to advise them, but it'd be great to know what they can't do that they wish they could do.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
But that's why I said, if we can empower them, then they can do.
Right,
But they're not doing, they can't, it's things they can't do. We have to change that.
right, 100%,
Okay.
100%.
Pave the way
That's-
first, so
and
they
that's
can walk the path.
it.
Right.
Mr. John, have anything for future topics?
Not at the moment.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Paula?
No, sir, not right now.
Helping out with
I
what I
would
was
put one
suggesting.
out
That's all.
that I have been talking about forever. The divisions between city and county city and county are really invisible. They're not real in the sense of.
Yeah, say that one more time.
The divisions and the lines between city and county aren't real, except for purposes of governmental entities. And so I've been asking, and you can tell me, Brian, if you already have a person, maybe I missed it. Forever, I've been wondering, why can't the city and the county collaborate, put money in a pot to hire a professional grant writer?
Oh, yeah, you said that. You said
And
that. yeah.
forever, I've been talking because, see, there are pots of money out here because people always talk about money. And I know for a fact that there's always money to do what you want to do if you want to do it. It's in the will, it's not in the money. And it's because if it's in the will and you have the will, you'll find the money. And so there's money out there to do some of everything you can imagine. Because all the stuff that comes across my phone and my computer and the meetings I sit in, I sit there every day and think about, why are we doing that in Jacksonville? And then somebody will say, we don't have any money. I'm not talking about your money. There's money over here. I heard about money over here. But the problem is, you always want to go to the staff members. You pick the community, you pick the organization, not the organization, you pick the department that's supposed to do that. Say housing as an example. They'll come here because it's a housing issue. You see what we saw on the agenda today. They're swamped. They're drowning in what they're already doing. They don't have any business having this put on their agenda as more stuff to have to do. Now, once it gets refined and implemented, where you can do the implementation stage, that's one thing. But there are people who do that for a living. And at any given time, NCDHHS is running tens of millions of dollars through the through the bank rolls of North Carolina. That is not tax money. It's grant money from various KB Reynolds, Z. Smith Reynolds, all these organizations that have funding to do things. And I knew the person who did this for a living in Raleigh, so that's why I know what I'm talking about. And that's all she did. She didn't do anything else but hunt down money to work on issues that the General Assembly had identified as something they wanted to do. So if you have the city and the county to come together and collaborate, put enough money into one pot so that this person could have professional, I'm talking about professional grant writers. Transportation,
Let me say
the
this.
money, the
Isn't the
benefit
county
package.
working on actually hiring a grant writer?
Position's been open.
Yeah,
for
it's
a
been
long
opened
time.
up.
Has it? It's been
Yeah.
open for a long time.
Yeah, I know.
Because it opened up when Ernie was on county commission, which was 1992. And you know where the idea came from. I've been hollering about it since then. Because you cannot expect your working 8 to 5, Monday through Friday staff to put those applications in and to do the work, because there's an art form and there's a science to doing real grant writing. Because you need deep pockets to do housing. You can't raise $10,000 and do more than one house for real. You've got to have some deep pockets, and there are deep pockets out there. So I would say that I just want to find a way to encourage the conversation between the city and the county
Now,
to find at least one person.
Now, I got a question,
Can write these things.
because we always hit our city council up with that question. I have never been to a county commissioners meeting.
Oh, okay.
So maybe that's where we take this up, because we've bombarded the city all the time. And the way I understand it, the city is in the county, so the county is the big brother, the way I understand it. And so you can't make them do anything, but if they are willing to play, then we can, or willing to work along with the city, we could do something like that. That's what I understand.
And we have,
And-
I'm starting to work with more of the, we have relationships
Yeah.
with the commissioners.
Okay.
But
Because once
we gotta
again,
find out
as a taxpayer,
what's happening, why it's not being,
Why it
that
hasn't
position
been
not
done
being
yet.
filled.
and as a taxpayer, I have to pay city and county taxes. So I'm not, so those
Right.
divisions are irrelevant to me.
And two
I want somebody
Right. You want that.
who is
to
working
work.
someplace in Burton Park or down here 1 to 2, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, and is doing nothing else but hunting down the money that is
Let's-
necessary to do.
Let's you
If
and
it's a county
I show
thing,
up over there one week and just go ask some questions.
you
Let's
know,
have a list of
county thing,
questions.
yeah. And the city it might be one of these, because I see those RFOs that come out of the federal government that you're talking about millions of dollars that they put out there. There's one rolling right now. But when we get it, I don't know of anybody who is quite, whatever word I'm looking for, enough to be able to write that package, but it's out there. It exists. They're putting it out. The feds are putting out billions of dollars every year in the form of grants, government grants, every year. And the people who have that construct already in place are the ones who are going after it and getting it.
We need to figure out how to best, because we're not the only city in the county as well.
Yeah.
So we would
True
have to
enough.
figure out the best way
Way to do it.
to actually
Let's take a bigger
attack that.
collaboration.
So maybe Jacksonville will have their own instead of just Wilmington. That money could also.
Yes, sir. Real
Well,
quick, because we
yeah.
want to get our guest over here also.
Oh, I just wanted to add to the grant writing conversation that at least pre-COVID, I'll make a phone call tomorrow. At least pre-COVID, the Onslow County Public Library ran a pretty consistent grant writing workshop series. And so it seems like if a city county funded organization is offering grant writing workshops and the city and county need a grant writer, there could be some kind of pipeline set up there, some kind of internship. You do the library's grant writing thing, and we let you write some grants.
And see, I sat through there, they have the Onslow County Public Library is one of 2 cities, maybe in the entire eastern North Carolina, who has what he's talking about. It's free.
You're talking about a portal to go through there?
The portal that was
Foundation
created.
Center. When I was
Foundation Center.
DC, I used to write grants, and I would actually go to the Foundation Center there. And it's great, the portal that they have it, just like everything else, the money is shrinking.
Sure.
So it's not easy to get as easy as it was at one time. Matter of fact, it wasn't that easy in 05 either. But, and then it's an art form.
That's what I'm saying.
And at this level, to get the money through here, you're gonna have to have somebody that has done it for years, and that's what
That
that's
does this for a living.
we just have to figure out how to fund it. That's the issue right there.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
All right, I appreciate you. Yes, ma'am. Introduce yourself, and do you have anything for you?
I don't have anything to say at this point. I'm just here as a concerned citizen. Looking at my neighborhood and everything, and since this is a community discussion. But my name is Louise Greggs, and I've been trying to get here for a long time, but I will be coming back.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming. Yes, sir.
Lovely to meet you.
Hello. I just thought about that. And I talked to the interim city manager, Ron Massey, about this as well. Our neighborhoods are starting to look a whole lot more trashy now. So we gotta try to figure out how to get more information. You have people leaving trash cans out front in some areas now. I'm in Belfort, but it's not just that.
Okay.
It's a lot. It's throughout the city, and we didn't used to have that problem.
Well, some of it, and let me say this, right? And let me say this about those things like that, right? It's called community policing. That's why we live in neighborhoods. We gotta do our part, We just can't put everything back on a particular group. Sometimes it's called good neighbor. If my trash can is left down, sometimes my neighbor would grab it and put it behind the house for me, and I'll do the same thing for those around me. And some of that is good neighboring. So we do mention it, take that for notice. Hey, we're not gonna fine you, but please grab your trash cans and put them back behind your house or where they're supposed to be.
And that's what we need to do, is put more information out there about good neighboring.
There you go.
All right.
Good neighbor. All right, so if we have nothing else, I'd like to thank everybody for your input tonight. We ran a little long, but I guess everybody had a little something to say since we've been out for a minute. We're gonna count the session that we went through as our question and concerns. And these are the key dates. You just go ahead and look at them on the board there, please.
So just want to touch on National Night Out. We, of course, invite our NESAC members to help us celebrate National Night Out. Come out and join us at our booth. We're going to be sending an email out inviting you all, and we encourage each and every one of you to come back and support us. Give us a break so that we can at least have that break, and then, have the public come by and get information about the services and resources that we have to offer.
What time, Tracy?
We will send that information out in the email.
Okay.
August 13th, of course, is the Youth Council Empowerment Summit, the Nonprofit Executive Roundtable. We've had some very good executive directors roundtables, very good conversations. And also, finally, on August 20th, our Money Management Seminar will be from 9 to 12. And it's a free seminar. It is free. So it fills up very, very quickly.
Will it be here at City Hall?
No, it's going to be at the Center for Public Safety.
The round table too?
No, the round table will be at,
The round table's where?
it'll be at Coastal Carolina.
That's what I'm saying, coastal. Most of the time it is.
And the marketing will go out for that as well.
So our meetings, next meeting's gonna be August 22nd. Put it on your calendars and prepare October 24th and December 19th for the rest of the year. We will be selecting and having elections coming up for our chair, vice chair.
We got some
that.
expired positions
So
too.
we also have some expired members, so we'll be following up with Councilman Jackson so that we can fill those positions.
Okay. All right, thank you. If we have no further discussions, I'd like to see if,
Motion to adjourn?
thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We call this meeting adjourned. Thank you so much.